Side Ben Carroll on the big board going solo tonight. Got Aaron Gurnis on the television side. We're on our flagship ESPN 1700 The Champ on the Iowa Sports Connection radio and television network on WHO TV 13.2, Mediacom channels 113, 246. We've launched one of our television shows up on KCRG 9.2 and 109 out of Cedar Rapids on the T. Another week or two, we'll launch this show up in the great northeastern portion of the state, along with our great affiliates like ESPN 1600 up there in Cedar Rapids as well. Looking forward to that. We're brought to you by the Iowa Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, reminding us that texting kills. Log on to iowagtsb.org. The Iowa Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau reminding you that thumbs down on texting. We're also brought to you by Shields with 5 locations in the state of Iowa. You can pick up a copy of our magazine at Coralville Mall in Iowa City, Cedar Falls, Waterloo, Sioux City, and Jordan Creek Mall right here in West Des Moines. And while you're there, check out, of course, the great Goal Setter Systems. And it'd be a great addition in this spring to your driveway. I've had one since 1997. Log on to goalsetter.com for a Goal Setter system. If you're listening to us on ESPN 1700 The Champ, immediately after I get off the air here at 7 o'clock, you Twins fans will be happy finally. We got the Twins, and then over on our sister station, 98.3, they're in the heart of the playoffs. The Iowa Energy will be playing on our sister station, 98.3 WOW FM. And right here, as I mentioned, as soon as we get off the air here on Friday Night Live, we'll dive into Twins baseball, probably pick them up in about the third inning. And it's time for our AIB Triple Threat Athletes of the Week. We talked a little bit earlier. Shelby Houlihan, Sioux City East. She's tops in Class 4A and with a state best in the 800, 1,500, and 3,000-meter runs. That's on the girls' side. On the boys' side, we just got done talking to the coach. Kenny Gilmore from Davenport Central. He's tops in 4A in the 200. He's got the second best time in the 400-meter run and tops in Class 4A in the long jump with a 24-foot 5 inches, and that's an incredible jump, and that young man probably will break the state record. Shoot for 3 with AIB. Get your bachelor degree in 3 years, which includes a sports and events management major, and be sure to listen every Friday night. And tomorrow morning we'll have another opportunity to take care of our AIB Triple Threat Athletes of the Week, and we'll log on to aib.edu for more information. And it turns out that Benny, in this night of doing solo missions, is not able to garner my next guest. He was supposed to be talking right now to George Ashman. He's the Woodward Granger Hawks girls track and field coach. And we'll talk to him a little bit later on. Hopefully we'll catch up with him. I'll go ahead and bore you to death with some of the statistics that my buddy Tony Anseni has provided me, since he's left me here solo tonight. Let's go over the 4A 100-meter dash on the girls' side. We've got Iowa City, McKinnon Kernbaugh. She's a sophomore. She's running 12.22, and in second right now in the state. All these girls have qualified, by the way, for the Drake Relays at Des Moines Roosevelt. Erin Hawkins, she's running 12.24. Ben, you found me a guest. You're a good man. I like to talk to Dowling Catholic coaches, and of course, coaches certainly Coach Weier has had a tremendous success and great career over there. The only thing I got to ask you, Coach, you lost Katie Flood, Betsy is gone, Ashley Decker. That's really empty in the old war chest. Who are your senior leaders now?
Well, yeah, we are missing those two, that's for sure. And captains for this year, we got seven seniors, and out of that group, we got a good mix of sprinters and distance gals, and things are going pretty good.
Well, let's talk about some of the senior leadership this year that you have assembled, because every team, you've been fortunate to have athletes of all classes in the past and had them stick around, but you got to have some semblance of senior leadership, and I'm sure you've got some of those this year.
Yeah, we do. Tanel Berard is a senior captain. That's one of our distance runners, and she finished third in state this fall in cross country, and is kind of carrying that on for us in track. Another senior for us is Carolyn Claiborne. She's a senior and a hurdler, and Maggie Barsetti, captain, senior hurdler. And moving on with the seniors, we got Maggie, sorry, or no, I was right. Hannah Wiedemeyer. There we go. Her sister Maggie was graduated last year. Anyway, Hannah Wiedemeyer is a senior 400 gal, and does a great job for us in that, and is one of our captains. And Kelsey Knobloch is another senior that runs quarters all the way down to 100s. And Casey Powers, another senior that's a sprinter for us. And those are basically our seniors, and those kids are doing a great job for us.
Well, I also see you got a couple of youngsters. You got Jessica Campbell, a sophomore, a nice 200-meter dash runner right now as well. And you've got a freshman in the 3,000-meter run, and Carissa Schweitzer, she's only a freshman, kind of like the Flood girls, coming in and making an impact their freshman year.
Those two, and those are not the only ones either. There's some other girls that are doing very well in the state. There's a Luxon girl that's in the top 10 in the 1500, and then we got Ellie Vaughn, who's a junior that's also in the top 10 in the 3000 and doing very well in the half. So, along with those kids, and that goes back to cross country again. Father Kirby does such a great job with cross country kids, and those are the bunch of kids that are coming off of that group right there.
We're talking to Larry Weier. He's the head coach for the Dowling Catholic Maroons girls track and field coach, and I'm a Bishop Heelan graduate, and that I don't know if you want that Luxon girl in your camp because her dad's a Crusader,
Yeah, I kind of figured that. He talks about them every once in a while. I kind of grew up in that area, so I know those Crusaders quite well.
Where are you from, Larry?
Well, I grew up between Sioux Falls and Sioux City on a farm near Freeman, South Dakota, so very familiar with what goes on over there.
Well, I'll be making that trek up there to Sioux Falls on Sunday night. I'll wave at your homestead on my way up there.
There you go.
Now let's talk a little bit about the Drake Relays. Of course, the event's getting probably rained out this weekend, but have you had any qualifying times for your kids? So you've got some girls that are going to get a chance to get down there.
Well, right now we're sitting number one in the state in the 4x8 with a time of 9:35, 9:34, somewhere in that range. That group right there will get there. Right now, if we were to shut the doors on the 3,000, we would have three girls in that: Schweitzer and Berard and Ellie Vaughn. The reason I say Ellie is because we got three Vaughn girls that are running for us, and Schweitzer's in the 1500, and Luxon is pretty close. I'm not quite sure if I haven't looked lately, so I think she's pretty close. And then we've got a couple girls running at about 218, somewhere in that neighborhood. Maybe they have a shot at the open half too. So 4x1 set a school record last year, and those kids are back. All but Maddie Wiedemeyer, who graduated last year. We're running number 5 in the state with that, and the 4x2 sitting number 10. So we got a lot of things that are looking pretty good. So hopefully we get a little better weather here so we can run them again and see if we can drop some times a little bit.
Well, the beauty, obviously for the kids in the other pockets of the state, it's an absolute thrill to come down to the state capitol and participate in the Drake Relays. And sometimes people take them for granted here. I certainly don't. I know you don't. And you certainly inspire your kids not to take it for granted, even though it is right here in their hometown. That is still a thrill for these girls to get an opportunity to go down there like every athlete and run on the blue oval.
Yeah, I think our kids. When you talk to them at the beginning of the year, or when you listen to them talking to each other, there are three things that they aim for, and they aim for conference and district and state, which goes together in my books, and definitely Drake Relays. That's a big plus for those kids to get to run on that track. And talking about running on that track, like I know Katie Flood from last year and Ashley Decker, when they sign letters to go to college at University of Minnesota, and then Katie out to Oregon out there, or out to Washington. Sorry, those kids were promised that they would come back to the Drake Relay, so you can see the leverage that those kids kind of have on the schools when they go out, because that's one of the things they would really love to do, and the colleges do a great job of bringing those kids back.
And what a thrill it was last year. You know, those two, the ultimate respect. Those young ladies were the darlings of the Drake relays. Of course, same thing as the state co-ed meet, but even the track and field fans that may not follow girls track and field realized what special young athletes they were watching last year in Katie Flood and Ashley Decker as teammates. And actually, the depth of girls track and field in the state of Iowa has just been phenomenal in the last 5 to 8 years. And we've just been blessed with, young ladies that are going on to run Division I track and perform. And Tony and Senny and I were sitting up there last year, and we were just shaking our head and looking at some of the times of these young girls from Iowa. And then we were taking splits of some of these university division girls that were running in 4x8s, and heck, they were already running Division I college times and would have been able to participate on most of the teams that were at the Drake relays.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. You know, I was online. I get online quite often with we've got Betsy Flood, who's a couple years older than Katie. That's down at Iowa, and you get online with their times and Katie's times and Ashley up at the University of Minnesota. You get on and you look at those times, and you're thinking to yourself, now, you know, those girls were running that last year already.
Yeah, in high school.
You know, you just marvel at what those girls were able to do. It's just it was outstanding. And then you also look around the state and you see there was a Miller girl from out east. I've seen her name on the top 15 list in the nation, and you know, it just goes on and on too with kids that you saw run in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years in Iowa, and there's been some outstanding kids to watch run around here lately.
Well, Coach, I can assure you right now, you're probably not having any problem with the depth of your success of recruiting youngsters. How are your numbers this year as far as incoming athletes? And, we know that they have the MAC meets. Are kids getting more involved on the girls' side, track and field, because of the incredible job that Betsy and Katie and Ashley did to inspire them to run?
Well, talking about MAC, I just the association sent out a request here last week about what was your numbers like throughout the junior high, and I went back and I looked at that and I was shocked. We have 765 athletes that are running track for us this spring. You know, that's including the boys too, but 765, 5 through 8 running track for us, and I just thought I was floored by that number. It was just phenomenal to think that there are that many kids out there doing that.
That is a phenomenal number, and this is a sport that I thought when we made the transition, soccer. I'm on the Champions Tour, as they say. I'm over 50 and was in track and field collegiately in high school and loved the sport. But I thought we were going to see, the Waterloo of track and field potentially when soccer started to develop in the state of Iowa, and they've done a superb job with the sport, because I thought we'd just lose athletes. And then I get a statistic like this from you and other coaches across the state, over in Iowa City and up in Cedar Rapids. It's phenomenal, and I think it's superb because it's a lifelong sport that kids can always stay in shape and run with.
Well, I think you're exactly right. And you can bet we lose some athletes to soccer also, but and I guess if we start talking soccer, I'd love to see that sport go to the fall, so we could pick up a few more 400 and 600 or 800 kids out of that group, because that's where they're at. But you're right. I think we're track is kind of seeing a resurge here again, and I think kids are. When you're inspired by a Katie and a Ashley and a Betsy that we had 3 years ago, when those kind of kids go through, and those young kids look at them going through, and they just they become inspired by them, and they want to be like those 3 girls were.
Absolutely. Speaking of those 3, how's Katie's season so far? Ashley's and Betsy's over at Iowa.
Well, Katie is unbelievable what she's doing right now. She finished number 1 in the in the United States in the 3,000 indoors, and with a time of 9:09, if you can believe that.
Oh my word! As a freshman at Washington.
Yep. And then she turned around and ran the 1500, finished second in the world, or in the United States. Sorry, to a gal by less than a second. So she's having a phenomenal year. Betsy over at Iowa is having the same kind of things going on in the Big Ten. She finished, I don't know, in the 3,000. She's been 1 or 2 all year, and I think indoors and now outdoors are starting. It'll be fun to see what she's doing. And Ashley made cross country last fall, made it to nationals, and in track, I haven't seen much individually out of her. I know she's been running relays up there and doing quite well. So, it's just fun to watch those kids and see what they're doing.
And you got to be proud when you got athletes at Washington, Minnesota, and Iowa. I mean, that's got to be just a thrill, and you've done a superb job. Well, Coach, we'll see you down at the Drake Relays in a couple weeks. Hey, have you heard they're going to try to get Jim Duncan Invitational in tomorrow?
Haven't heard it was canceled. I think we're going to catch a break here. It sounds like maybe the rain might be ending here during the night, and hopefully we can get that in tomorrow. Have you heard anything about what they did today?
No, I didn't hear anything, and we're going to have a live report tomorrow morning on the Iowa Sports Connection. I was just curious. I know up in Northwest Iowa, we just got in talking the Sioux City Relays. They're going to try to get them in tomorrow because, Shelby Houlihan up there is certainly going to make an impact, and she's right now got the fastest times in 800, 1500, and the 3,000. She's going to Arizona State. She was glad that Katie graduated, though.
Yeah, Katie had her number a little bit, but it wasn't because Houlihan wasn't there, because she is an outstanding athlete. When you talk about athletes, there's another one coming that's just, those kids are so close to being Olympic athletes that it's scary, to tell you the truth.
Well, we've been blessed, and they're blessed to have a mentor like you. We'll see you down at the Drake Relays.
All righty. Good talking to you.
All right, Coach Larry. See, Ben, you didn't think I could talk, but I could talk track and field for about 4 hours. We'll be back here on Friday Night Live on the Iowa Sports Connection radio and television network.